right, we are in Bali, Indonesia. This is Nervous Rex. I'm sitting here with Mickey Avalon, and we are in a hotel room. Storm's
Naked.
over. We're not naked. We are naked?
No, we're not naked.
I'm half naked because it's fucking 8 billion degrees, and there's a thunderstorm outside that just passed. Did you see me jump like a little bitch?
Dude, I jumped into your arms.
Dude, how was that? Lightning?
That might have been the closest lightning. It sounded like a machine gun and shook the whole fucking building.
So we are in Bali. Your first time here. What do you think?
Love it.
Well, tell me. Embellish.
You can't really explain what this is. You go other places, you're like, this is amazing. And maybe a week later, you're kind of bored or what. Like, this just is a whole different. I mean, as a Westerner, I mean, there's probably other places like that. Like, I've never been to India, but this is the crazy. I mean, like, you come here and you're like, you don't want to leave. I mean, just people are doing offerings all day. Everything smells like, and everyone's calm. The road's crazy, but no one's freaking out. It's just like a better life.
So this is my fourth time here in a year and a half. I've never been anywhere we won't talk about Bali forever because for the 91% of people listening that haven't been, we don't want to be those dicks. But fucking basically, I've been here 4 times in 16 months, which I've never done anywhere in my life. And also, everyone you meet here, they're like, how long you here? And you reply, 3 weeks. And they say, yeah, me too. 7 years ago, never left.
Yeah.
And you're going to move here. And you're like, I am going to move here.
Yeah. And it's every culture. Like,
maybe we shouldn't talk about it because people listening are going to know. We got to.
Don't come here. This place sucks.
Okay.
Fight Club.
Bali sucks.
Fight Club.
We got a show tonight here in a place called Canggu, which is the hipster. This place is 5 years old. This whole area was not here 5 years ago. How trippy is that?
Yeah.
So it's like out here, it's booming so fast that these little towns with rice fields just get bought up and built up. And this is like the Venice or, Brooklyn of Bali. And I thought we were going to talk about it. Anyway, we have a show here tonight. It's the hipster town. It's on. Hopefully the show goes good.
It's called Gimme Shelter.
Gimme Shelter. Our boy Made.
It's like the first rock and roll bar out here, since all of them are like EDM or reggae or.
Yeah, a lot of reggae and EDM out here. No thanks. Well, no, I don't mind reggae or EDM, but I just mean to I
think that's like a European.
Cool. Like if I'm going to go to a little bar, rather a rock and roll bar. But whatever.
I think that's a lot for Europeans. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
this place is mostly Russians, Australians, a lot of Americans, Canadians.
Brazil. Yeah.
But it's a special place.
All right. So enough about that.
We just got back from Australia.
That was cool. We had some shows out there.
4 shows. Thank you, Sydney.
Australia used to be my favorite place.
Used to be till now. That's what was so funny is you and your chick kept saying, oh, this is my favorite place in the world. I'm like, wait till you get to Bali. We're just in America 2.0.
Better version of America.
We're in the better
still
America.
Still
it's
all
still
white.
The West.
It's still all white. It's still
very white. Just strip malls.
Judeo-Christian or whatever it is.
Consumer-based regalia. Yeah. And we were there. We did a show in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, which I'd never been to. That's my new favorite place
West
in Australia.
Oz is pretty rad.
Is Fremantle? Frio, they call it.
What would you describe that as? Like a really nice
Spain,
beach?
Malibu.
Or like San Diego in Spain?
Yeah. Say if San Diego buttfuck Spain.
Spain Diego?
If San Diego buttfuck Spain in Malibu. So Spain, Diego, Malibu.
Yeah. There was like a sculpture garden show going on. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we just looked at art on the beach, walked around, and then that was our last show. We had Gold Coast. Their shows were fucking great.
Shows were awesome. The people still came out. I got to meet a new buddy that you already knew, Adam from Canada.
Canadian Adam. Adam Control.
He's dope. I'm not gonna blow him up too hard, but he was awesome. We had a good little crew. Brad was cool.
Yeah, we had a good crew. Thank you, Chucky, for hooking it up.
Thanks for taking us, Chucky.
Every time we jump in the palatial ocean, we just say, thanks, Chucky.
Thanks, Chucky.
And you know how we always say regalia? it was born in Australia. The quick story for you guys listening, because you know how much I say regalia. I was doing a TV show in Australia about 11, 12 years ago, and they offered me, they said, well, you could have 1 first-class ticket or a business class ticket and 4 coach tickets to either go back and forth or fly people out. So I said, duh, business class is basically first class as long as I'm horizontal. horizontal, I'm good. So I took business and 4 coach tickets, and I flew Andre Legacy out.
Yeah.
And he came out, and my boy Navin from Miami was out too. And there's a thing in Miami called the Regatta, which is a boat show.
Boom the Regatta.
And yeah, Boom the Regatta, exactly. And then Legacy, we'd be looking out at the water from my apartment in Australia, and he kept saying to Navin, he's like, hey, what's up with the regalia? He's like, dude, it's called the Regatta. And it was so funny that regalia was born in Australia,
Regalia
which rhymes.
in Australia.
That's where it was born, dude.
But that's a real word, right? Isn't that like if you're a soldier and you get awards or something?
It's more of a king would wear, like a royal family would wear.
Okay.
You'd regal, like
so
regal.
Like your crown
it's like regal. Exactly.
Is a regalia.
It's regal. Or you could regale someone. Like
and
I'm regaling her with tales of regalia.
And then the palatial's like a palace.
And palatial's like a palace. So palatial regalia just became 2 words that are synonymous with anything dope. Like palatial regalia is just anything good. But then they became verbs. Like I'm gonna regale that paladino, and then everything just got out of control. And now he's saying skooky. I think I got bit by a spider, dude. My neck feels like fucking
like
Charles Vanderbilt's fucking
Ribisi.
chimney factory got fucking. So yeah, now we use our own lingo that somehow gets contagious, and people just like the way we talk because we're crispy Paladinos.
We're crispy babies.
You know what I mean? That's all we do is talk shit and get paid for it. So yeah, we're out here in us. We just did Australia. We got to go home in a little bit.
So not looking forward to going home.
Want to leave?
Don't ever want to leave. But you're smart because you do the round trip thing. So
the round trip.
Try not to keep talking about Bali.
I know it's hard, dude. This place is so fucking sick. Look at that's Joshua Tree on the TV.
Yeah.
I just was out there.
Though, we're not really going to be home for too long.
4 days of jet lag and then off to Colorado.
That's going to be rough.
So yeah, me and Mickey have been doing a bunch of shows lately. We got, I don't know when this will be released, but we have shows pretty much all throughout June right now, booked all over the United States. One in Hawaii, but by the time this comes out, it will probably have already happened. We're so lucky, dude. We go home, go to Colorado, then we go to Hawaii for 420. I'm going on a hunting trip with Chris Ryan and Kyle, my other buddy Kyle Tierman. It's gonna be sick, dude.
It is gonna be sick. If you catch a boar, bring some home.
Boring. Okay, so can I tell my boar story real quick?
Yeah.
It's a borer story. It's a horror borer story. So I was in Hawaii and I went hunting with these gnarly hunter dudes. And basically, long story short, they let me stab a pig. I eat meat, so I wanted to hunt my own food once. So I'm sure people are going to get pissed about this, but you know what? It's life. It's death. It's the whole regalia. So I went hunting out in Hawaii, and I got to stab. It was horrible. I was traumatized. I stabbed a 130-pound sow, a female boar, through the heart, gutted it, carried it home, and fed a whole village of people. A whole neighborhood came around and ate my hunt. And I gotta be honest, it might have been the best feeling, because I'm a city boy, best feeling I've ever felt of egalitarian, sharing, providing. I felt like a man. And then the next day, I got a coffee enema.
Whoa.
So I went from like hunter-gatherer to little bitch.
Did you catch it, or did they catch it and you killed it?
With the hunter, the regalia?
Yeah, the pig.
Dogs caught it. So the dogs go out on the GPS collars, and the dogs, 4 dogs hold down a limb each of the boar, and then you stab the boar while the dogs are holding it down.
GPS. Wow,
yeah, and you find the dog, you hear in the bushes.
The new shit.
It's crazy. It's like what our great ancestors
what are they,
didn't
like
get.
Hound dogs or
they're
something?
Like border collies or something, but they're like hunter dogs. Anyway, it was crazy.
What's a coffee enema did?
So the next day I was in Hawaii staying at my friend's.
You felt too manly. You had to bitch out. You had to bitch it out. You had to bring it down a notch.
I guess I just went
Even
yin yang, right?
That didn't sound bitchy to me, but you just said that. I guess it's kind of a bitch.
It is very bitchy. Well,
something in your ass.
Well, the way, if you would have walked in the room and saw what it looked like, I was folded up like a taco. My friend's mom was like, "You want to do a coffee enema?" And I said, "Okay, why not?" I caught a boar yesterday. Let's do a coffee enema. And she folds me up in the bathroom like a taco and shoves a fucking thing in my butthole.
And turkey baster.
And pours coffee into the tuber. Like,
Did you feel it?
Stimulates your butthole.
Well, you probably got stimulated in your body. I heard your butthole. Now, if we're going to talk about buttholes.
Yeah, let's talk about.
So when it comes to substances, drugs, anything like that, there's different levels, like how much you absorb, Right. Like you can take 1 million vitamins. That doesn't mean like they're all going to go in your body.
Right.
Like you can piss a lot of it out. So
that's what they say. Most Americans have the most expensive
smoking something gives you, whatever. 50, 60%. Like none of these are factual.
Right,
like,
right. I get
exact
you.
numbers. Like snort it more, it's
Right
like
to the
in
brain.
there. Shooting it, you would think would be the most
Right.
because like right to the bloodstream.
Right.
That's like 85%. The butthole, it's like 95. Like you're almost getting every single. So I heard you can die from like a glass of like vodka, like up
In
your
the
butt.
butthole.
Like you soak a like tampon in vodka. I've never done this even. Shove it up your, and you can literally die of alcohol poisoning. Like what would normally be like one glass that would do nothing to you.
And that's called a suppository.
Suppository.
So have you ever done a butthole drug? Like what do they call it? A baby? What do they call it?
A suppositor. So they have opiate suppositor. I feel like I have, and I don't remember, which might even be worse. That you would think that if you did do that, not that you should be traumatized, but that you should at least remember it.
Right.
But I kind of have this memory that probably wasn't a dream of like getting some suppositories, some like opiate
Booty
suppositories.
bumps.
And
What drug would it have been? Coke?
no, it would have been like opiate.
Right.
And then I feel like I've probably broken a needle off of a needle and like squirted some shit in my ass before.
Really? I like where this conversation's
I'm totally
going.
not embarrassed. I just honestly don't remember if I did that. But for whatever reason, like the capillaries in your butthole are just like, you heard that Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac.
Can we tell your story about it?
Yeah,
what
of
you
course.
said? Okay.
I mean, so I think everyone's like talked about it. Like Stevie Nicks did so much coke, she blew out her nose. Then supposedly she had someone that was on payroll just to blow coke up her butt. The thing about doing drugs up your butt, except for it's kind of hard to blow them in your own butt. Mm-hmm. So
you need a
could
weird
do the
tube.
syringe thing I was saying where you break off the needle, but that's also a lot of thinking. So you kind of need a butt buddy.
Right.
So supposedly she had a butt buddy to give her booty bumps. And then when I got signed to Interscope a long time ago, and I had no idea that Jimmy Iovine and
who's the head of the
label, who used to date Stevie Nicks, had no idea. Me and him were in the room talking. She comes up somehow, and I'm like, "Isn't it true that Stevie Nicks used to get coke blown up her ass?" His whole demeanor changes. He's like, "She's a good friend of mine and would never do that." And like, totally.
I've heard that story so many times, and I feel like I was in the room because I've heard it so many times.
Brandon might have been in the room, and he might have told. Like, I feel
like he was. Someone else told me that was in the room.
Brandon was probably in the room. He would just walk around like Jimmy. So yeah, it's not.
Speaking of Brandon and buttholes in the same paragraph, I gotta quickly say our friend Brandon. We don't need to say his full name because he wouldn't give a fuck. But our friend Brandon basically said one time he had to go to the doctor and get like
prostate
a STD check or something. So the doctor put his thumb, a Jewish thick fingered doctor put his thumb up his ass and made a left hand turn. And he said he just came everywhere. And he said it was like the trap door. And I guess the male G spot is up the butthole to the left.
So
I'm 44 years old. I've still never acquired that region.
Yeah,
but I feel like at this point I would have at some point had drugs or a thumb put up my butt to the left, but I haven't. And I guess that's where the male G spot is. And if you get up there and hang a left, it's teriyaki baster town.
Yeah, dude, my proctologist is a real asshole doctor.
What do you mean?
No, I've had a finger in my ass, and I'm not worried about like it being gay or anything. Right. I just was like, you take your finger out of my ass right now.
Yeah, I feel like I would shit everywhere. A couple girls have tried to do that.
I feel like I'm shitting right now.
Well,
you probably have shit on your finger. Like, please stop. I totally tensed up. There's obviously an art to it.
Yeah.
That Jewish doctor with the fat fingers was probably a pro.
Right.
And I'm sure Brandon's taught his wife the move by now.
Yeah, you would think. And another friend of ours recently, he went and got a butthole exam just because we're in our mid 40s now, and that's what you got to get the old rectum check. So I went in, and the doctor's like, you're here about 10 years early, right? Like, you don't need to get your rectum checked for like cancer or anything until your mid 50s. So I just said, let's do it. I'm here, and he did the fucking finger up the old pooper.
Don't tell me he did.
And he's like, no, but I didn't come or anything. And he was like, dude, you're fine. You're good. And I was like, all right, well, at least I know now. And you didn't even feel it because he put like a little lube on, and he just does a little boop, like a little check.
And he didn't go to the left. He didn't go to the left.
He didn't go left. I wish he did now that I think about it. But I guess I'm okay. And I didn't even need to go in, but my insurance covered it. And
the buttholes.
It takes a real man to go do that. You know what I mean?
The butthole's a real, it's a real strange thing.
Strange brew. So let's tell some old. I feel like we're on a good trajectory talking about the old regalia drug stories. I need to work. I'm going to make a cognizant effort to slow down my speech because I've noticed, even though the show is called Nervous Rex, that in real life and on the show, I talk way too fast. I need to slow down. So I'm going to try to be a little slower today. Does that sound forced at how slow that is?
No, I think you just, anything's in a sense. That's one thing Brandon actually taught me. He was my spiritual advisor. And he'd say, like, on stage, whenever you think you stood somewhere for too long, like, stand longer.
He's right.
And what you think is flying through your head, what's so fast isn't. And it probably would seem weird at first that you're going too slow, and then it probably
it feels unnatural. But I think I just need to. I think I just need to slow down my thought. But like my mom has a good theory. We talked about the token, TKN.
I like
Before
that.
you say something, think token, and that stands for. Is it thoughtful?
Truth?
Is it true? Is it
true?
kind? Is it necessary?
Yeah.
So that's some Buddhist, Zen, Hindu shit. If before you say anything, you think, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And then say whatever it is. Because you and I are both diarrhea mouth. We just I think that's a good theory. If we could start applying that, I think we would be better Hindus.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great
we were going to study Hinduism today, but we didn't get into it.
Yeah, we need to just Hindu for dummies.
Yeah.
I think when you're just out here, you just kind of, I don't know, like, not that I want to like go and be religious or anything. It's just like you see kind of the way people are out here, and it just kind of seems desirable.
Well, speaking of becoming religious, didn't you go down that right when I met you? You had just come off of doing a religious regalia for 1 or 2 years, where you went deep.
It was probably a year or two.
And why did you go into it? And just talk a little about it. You became very Jewish.
Yep, I became very Jewish. Let's think. Let me go back.
That was right before. Yeah, because Legacy would tell me like he would call you over. You'd call him over to turn on the Lakers game on a Monday or Sunday. When's Shabbat?
On a Friday.
On a Friday
night.
I'm such a bad Jew.
Or light my bong so I could hit it.
Why can't you use a lighter? Because it's a man-made device. I thought it was electronical equipment you can't use.
Same thing. Fire.
Fire.
You can't do it, but it's just so stupid to to go around to like find a loophole, which I guess is a real Jewish thing to do.
Totally. Taking bong hits. Well, that's been a long time.
Yeah, I haven't done. So yeah, just what was going on?
Why did you say, okay, I'm going to get super religious now? And did you grow out the payas and have the whole walk around?
Yeah, but I still dress the same. I had a shaved head with payas.
Right.
Side
Those
locks.
are the curly side.
But I wore like a poor boy hat and tucked them in the side. And I had my strings in my pants that I tucked in.
Wow.
What happened?
Was it like rehab? Was it drug related?
It started kind of as drug related. And then, the world has changed a lot in the last 20 years, first of all, maybe even more.
Yeah, Momo's out there now.
Like now, if I met a chick.
Fucked up.
I was interested in marrying her. Like I would never be like, oh, you need to convert or anything.
Right.
And not even me. Like even my grandparents, which only one of them is still alive, but even if all of them are still alive. I think there was a time back then where it's like, oh, well, she's going to convert. Like she's, you know what I mean? Like It was just kind of like a given. Whereas now it's just like, well, are you guys happy? No one really gives a shit anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's funny because now, like with my chick, even she's like, well, you don't want me to convert? And
she seems to want to convert.
She's into it. I'm like, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but like, you don't need to do it for me. Like, I'm not making anyone. If anything, so with my last wife, with my ex-wife, so that's kind of how it started. Like, you couldn't just send them off and be like, yo, pour some water over her head and make her convert. Like, you had to like go to the classes with them, with your spouse.
Was
like
pouring the water over the head sort of like a significant rebirth
I don't know.
thing?
I'm just kind of,
like a gremlin.
Like you do like a baptism.
Okay,
like baptism
right.
from the Jews.
Right.
But another thing real quick on that, which I just saw in my DMT documentary that I watched, is that might have been where they would hold you underwater till you almost drowned. And you actually, there's the obvious like symbolism of like washing away like your sins. But supposedly the more mystical thing was they basically held you down till you almost drowned. And then you had like a full psychedelic experience, which, people ain't doing that anymore for the most part. So I had
Unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that'd be rad. I'm like, hold me under the water until I'm just about to die and pull me out.
And then put your finger up the ass to make a left.
To the left, at the same time. Okay, so like it couldn't, you kind of have to, even the more kind of modern rabbis, like you can't just like send up like here's my chick or husband or God, whatever it is, like here's some money and like make them Jewish. And so like you had to go there too. So I had to like go to these classes with her, and then we had to like do Sabbath. And like if I do something, I'm kind of a maniac and an addict.
You go full on.
And so I was like, well, I want to be like walking on water and like floating in like a cave. Like I want to find like I want to be like Harry Houdini.
Right.
Not that he was a mystic or anything, but I'm like, I want to be like, I want to know like the 72 letter name of God and like be able to make it rain.
What about Rasputin? Was he a mystic or just had a big dick
mystic,
and he
not
fucked
Jewish
everyone?
mystic, but he just had a big dick.
And he fucked all the bitches.
He fucked all the
Well, he had a big. He fucked did he fuck the princess or the king's wife?
He fucked the king's wife, and the king knew, but he was the only one. The king's son. What he didn't fuck the king's son.
Is he a real person or is this just a tale?
No, Rasputin's a real person.
He's a real. Okay, this is.
Oh
not,
no, like he's a known real person.
He has the best
and he
name ever.
knowingly pulled out his cock when he would get drunk and swing it around, and he's knowingly like 6'5", so he probably had a big.
Was
dick.
he Polish or what was he?
I think he's
Armenian?
Russian. But the king knew he was fucking his wife, and he let it slide because the king's son was sick, and he was like the only one who could heal him.
By laughter? How did he make him?
I don't know. He's just
he
like he's
magic.
a G. And then when he got killed, they shot him like 30 times and like kept getting up. But
his
like,
dick, because he kept hitting him in the dick. It just bounced off his big Russian dick.
So yeah, I want to be like one of those dudes, even though he wasn't, but just like that.
Right.
So, and then you're like, okay, and whether you agree with half this shit, I mean, it's not that I agreed or didn't agree, but like there's a lot of rules, which I'm not like good with rules, but I'm like, well, if maybe this other stuff's not going to work unless I follow these rules. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like maybe I won't learn how to float and walk on water unless I like don't turn my lights on Friday,
right?
You know, and then you know, eventually you're like, this is fucking stupid.
Well, didn't you say at the end the Jewish religion? They say in the end, like it's all bullshit and there's no difference. It's just like a piece of shit, or like what did you say?
I don't say it's all bullshit. It's just kind of God is in everything. So
that's
there's
the
just
Jewish belief, right?
I mean, what I learned, like mystical, like there's just as much God in a pile of dog shit as there is in the Bible,
right? You
know, I mean, you might treat one.
Oh, I see. That's what it was that you said. So God is in everything and everyone. That's sort of their belief. And it's
so I don't need to follow all these rules.
That wasn't in that documentary we love called
What the Bleep was that?
No, not that one. The one that was on Amazon Prime that was Inside and Outside. Inside World, Outside World. They talk about that it's just the word of God and it's in everything. And
once you start you start seeing it's all the same and like. You don't need to like wear a uniform or join a certain group. Like even here, like like I think it's cool all this stuff they do, but it's like with the Hindu stuff. But you can like apply all those things to your life without having to join like a thing and like wear a funny hat and you know what I mean?
What do you think about the priests butt fucking the kids in Rome, in Philadelphia, dude? It's so
let's
gnarly.
Talk about it.
Like that's why religion scares me.
I think it's fucked up that they protect them.
Right.
That's first.
Right. That's what's fucking dark.
B, it's fucked up that they're not allowed to marry. So
they're just sexually oppressed.
Could be a lot of things. It could be like you're gay. So you go, and nothing against gay people, but so you go somewhere where like you can kind of hide out.
Football coach, little boy preach.
Yeah, and then it's even darker because if you were just allowed to be gay, like you wouldn't have any problems. But it's like, okay, I'm not allowed to marry women. I'm not allowed to butt fuck dudes. Well, I want to get my fucking rocks off because we're humans. Like you're gonna go someone who can't protect themselves and who you can like. Basically, you know, trick them into like not telling on you,
right?
And then even if you do get caught, like the Pope protects you. Like they don't. They're like their PR is like kind of go. And I'm not saying there's probably awesome things like in the Christian or Catholic religion. I don't know, and you know, I'm sure like Jesus was cool. I don't think he butt fucked any little boys.
Probably not.
I think he was just fucking Mary Magdalene and like. he
got it wet, dude. He was getting it wet. He was moving it around in Jerusalem, dude.
Come on.
If he had an album, it would be called Moving It Around in Jerusalem.
It'd be called Moving and Grooving. Dude, it was called, he had an album. It's called Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, that's right.
He's a fucking superstar.
I bet he had a big dick.
Definitely big dick. And I heard he was born circumcised.
What? Of course. Well, he's fucking got, his dick.
Well, you're the one who told me how he got his name.
Yeah. Want to tell everyone?
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell him.
So Jesus Christ could suck his own dick. So he was doing it, and then Mary walked in, and she was like, Jesus Christ.
Right. And that was how he got his name.
That's how he got his name.
Wait, what do you think? Okay, can we talk about our friend who owns Wolf Spit, the jack off lotion, butt fucked a priest at a wedding. Can we talk about that? That's the best story I've ever heard. Can we? I mean, legally, we can say whatever we want.
We'll find out before we put it out, so we can always edit this.
Oh,
I would think he would be proud of it. I'm proud of knowing him.
We can edit his company out, but our friend, I kind of know him, but he butt fucked a priest
he's awesome.
Where was this?
He was in Spain.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he's in Spain at a wedding, straight wedding, and he just said like, I don't even remember.
The priest touched him and gave him a suggestive touch.
That's even better. So he said that like the priest talked. I don't even remember him being like, oh, he was hot or anything. He just said the priest talked and he like really like touched it. Didn't touch him, but like the talk touched him.
Oh, that's what it touched him like emotionally.
First, what you said's right too. The talk, he liked the talk. Like the talk spoke to him.
Ooh.
So he goes up to tell the priest after, like, your talk really touched me. And then he said the priest like touched his neck and did like a
nape or front, like where of the neck?
Like what would this be called?
Like a side neck?
Like a move you would do it at shit, like a flirty move.
Well,
like
what about doing a chick would be grab choke. So I don't think he choked.
First, like, like you would do, like, imagine if you like held someone's hand and you did like a finger swipe, a swipe from like a credit card
He
swipe.
swiped right.
He swiped the neck, and then he's like, "Am I getting cruised by this priest?" Cut to their butt fucking on the roof. Dude, as the sun's coming up. I'm just like, you're lying. Like, this story's too good. He's like, no.
Well, the sun's coming up, so this must have been throughout a long night. Because it was 5 hours later.
Like, they probably went and drank, whatever they did. They hung out.
This sounds like a beautiful story.
They hung out. They went and they made their way up to the roof.
Oh, so there was a lot of foreplay that led up to the butt fuck.
I don't know who was the giver or the givey.
Well, they both,
I would think that he's the pitcher, but he could be a power bottom. I don't know. So he says the sun's coming up, butt fuck, best sex ever. And then he's like, okay, like I just either butt fucked or got butt fucked by this priest. This is fucking crazy. And he asked him, like, like you're a priest, you know what I mean? Like, what's up? And he got, or he said some question, like, and then he said the priest just looked at him and he goes, "Man judges man, but God doesn't judge." Or something like that.
And he also like basically was like, "I just came inside you, so God is in all of us."
Exactly.
God is really in all of us. Now go fucking shit that out.
Yeah.
That's so gnarly. It's like I don't know whether to be disturbed or I think that's the most beautiful love story I've ever heard. Beautiful.
Like, I'm such like a little bitch that I love gay people, but it still makes me laugh really hard to think about butt fucking. And
well, it's just you know what it is? It's not the act as much as it's the words. Like, the word fuck's already funny, and there's something about butt fuck together that just sounds, no matter what, a fart's gonna be funny.
Yes.
Suck a dick's gonna be funny, and butt fuck, no matter if it's a straight couple butt fucking.
Maybe that's it.
I think it's the words. It just sounds funny. It's not like, oh, I'm picturing two men. Like, good for them. Like, fuck yeah.
I think it's pretty amazing, especially in 2019. Like, someone in the closet, and especially we live like in Southern California. It's like, dude, it's 2019. Like, get the fuck out of the closet and go do some butt fucking.
The closets are pretty empty at this point.
Go suck some dick and butt fuck.
I wish I was saying the other day I was on a snowboard trip with like 8 of my friends, and we're all sitting around like after snowboarding, like sitting around the fire, and I was just like, dude, if we were gay right now, we would be fucking so much, like, suck. Like, I was like, I wish we were gay. There would be no like weird.
Or think about this.
All you guys are texting your wives at home, like, we would just be fucking.
Or think about this.
Or sucking.
Like, we go to a bar, a normal bar, straight bar, I guess you could call it.
Right. Not that gay bars are abnormal, but I got you. Right.
So, basically, it's a 50-50. Forget about what the ratio. Let's just say there's half girls, half guys.
Right.
So basically, half of that place is game for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like half of the place is available for you to take home. Now imagine you're in a gay bar and it's only dude. Everyone's game.
Yeah, everyone's and it's all dudes, and dudes just want to fuck.
And if you're gay and you can't get your dick sucked or get fucked, like you got a problem. Like you could have one leg, one eye, a little ass dick, and you're getting action. I just trip out. Like, do you think when they fight, like, do you think they like fist fight and shit?
I'm sure they do. Fuck yeah.
I mean, there's not like a taboo, like
because there's those buff ones too that like fucking work out and they'll fuck you up. Sometimes like
you know what's even the gnarliest?
They'll
you know what really fuck you up?
A butt fuck.
No, like a fucking tranny.
Oh yeah,
like who's been fucked with more their whole life?
Nobody.
Some Cuban fucking Dominican Republican.
Is it PC? What's the new word for tranny? Is there a new word for transvestite?
If I just said the wrong word,
you didn't offend anyone.
No
it's
idea.
Okay.
I'm way too old to fucking know all the rules. My daughter knows them all. So I'm not trying to offend anybody.
No, I'm just wondering what the new word is.
There probably is a better word. Right. Like I know there's like
tranny's like a cute word. It's like doggy, puppy. I don't see why it would be bad. But okay. So I saw a tranny fight once on Highland Ave in Santa Monica. I really did see once years ago in like '93. I remember driving up past the donut shop, which in Hollywood is the known like transvestite gay cruise spot. I'm driving
like no
by.
turns. The signs say no turns.
Oh yeah, that's on Sunset.
Whenever
more
you
too.
see a sign that says no turns, that means jerking off's going on. Like
so that on that corner, I saw like a 8-on-8 tranny fight, transvestite fight, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
and it was absolutely traumatizing to watch because it was like watching girls fight, but they were fighting like men, but they looked like women, and it was such a crazy, weird, like it was middle of the street on cars, bam, bam, just brawling, and you know, like with amazing skill. And this is in the '90s before there was women in MMA, so it was really weird to see.
Talk about that, which I was going to say. This totally opens up a whole bunch of. It's hard to watch those chicks. Like get their fucking noses broke.
Yeah, it's hard to watch chicks fight on MMA. But if you squint now, it looks like dudes.
I get that they're pros. I get that that's their thing. I get that they're like both doing it, and but like you're like I'm watching like a pretty girl just get punched in the nose. And now there's some
pretty ones, dude, like pretty Brazilian
blood,
girls,
like broken nose.
Yeah,
and then how about this? And it's like okay, backward. Like let's stay on transvestites. So like anyone should be able to do whatever they want to do, right? If you're a man, you feel like you're in a woman's body.
It's America,
you're a woman,
baby.
You feel like but this is where I think it gets fucked up. You can change your sex and then compete as the other sex.
Yeah, that's weird. You were telling me that the other day. That doesn't seem fair to me.
That doesn't seem, men and women are different. I'm sorry. Like
as a matter of fact, what's the opposite of man?
Woman.
Okay, right.
Like if I was a female and some dude just became a female and it's like, now I'm going to fight you. I'd be like, no, I don't really want to get punched in the face by you.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fair to me.
Like, so that's where I think like some line has, I guess like the tennis player, like Navratilova is her name?
I don't know.
Marina Navratilova. I guess she said something about it like, that's not fair.
Right.
And then she took like a lot of slack.
Isn't she gay? Oh, that's not her.
I think she is gay, but that has nothing to do with like turning.
I thought she was just defending.
Like, I just don't think that that's fair.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe one way. Maybe if a woman wants to turn man and then compete against other men, because then if anything, it's hard. Like
she has a little bit of a disadvantage physically. She has the disadvantage, right? If it's like a physical thing, but it's interesting.
Like if you're a woman, you become a man. You're like, I want to wrestle other men.
Right. Like, that's like okay, go for it. Yeah.
That's like.
But no dude's gonna want to wrestle.
Like if you smoke weed and go in the Olympics, it's like, dude, you're not like if anything, you're doing a disservice. You know what I mean? Like that's not a performance enhancing drug. So if anything, like you just made it harder for yourself.
Right.
So they shouldn't like be like, we're drug testing you and we caught you doing weed. We're taking away your gold medal. It's like, no, I made it harder on myself.
Right.
Whereas a man turning into a woman and then doing physical activity against, I don't think that's fair. So
I love it. I need to do more podcasts laying down because right now, if you guys picture this, we're in a beautiful A-frame Balinese hotel and I'm laying on like, you know, those little
You're looking
chairs?
pretty hot.
I feel hot. I'm laying at the edge of the bed on those little tables, those little cat tables. So I'm laying across it like Sergio Valente right now at an angle. I'm just trying not to fart because I'm like, do I fart in the mic and just cross that line or do I hold it in?
I think you should wait for a while.
Really?
I don't think you're ready to cross that line.
All right,
but you can.
I mean,
I don't want to be the blocker of that.
Here's my theory on farts. Half the people will think it's funny, half are going to tune out, and I don't want to risk tuning out. I think I save it. I'll hold it in.
Let's save it.
It's like, it's like that's the only thing about being single because I'm single again is that now I have to hold in my farts. So I want to get a girlfriend just so I don't have to because it's not healthy for my
you're single, so you don't need to hold in your farts.
No, when I'm with a chick, like if I hang out with a chick, I'm holding them in now. It's like, fuck, man.
Well, we blow ass. in public, like in airplanes.
We really let him go.
And sometimes
dude.
people laugh, and sometimes people look at you like you just killed their puppy.
Kobe wanted to beat me up.
That's kind of amazing.
He wouldn't. Our friend Kobe Aberton.
I'm talking about like strangers.
Right.
That's the kind of would be kind of funny, hard story to even tell.
Well, let me tell the Kobe one real quick. So I was at Kobe's last time I was in Bali. I'm eating dinner at my friend Kobe's, who's a very, badass Australian surfer fighter dude. And I'm sitting at his table and I rip one, but I brought dinner over. So I felt like, I could fart. I brought over dinner.
You thought it was funny. You didn't think you were being disrespectful.
To me, it's funny because me and my family, we farted. I farted at the table. We laugh. It's just silly. And I just rip one at the table. And he goes, mate, if I didn't know you better, I'd fucking crack you. You can't walk 3 feet out of there. That was my horrible accent. Sorry, Kobe. And I was just laughing. And it's so much better that
when his head, he probably thought like you were just like, you're disrespecting me.
Totally. I farted at the table.
And in your mind, you're like, this is how, like, I'm going to give you a treat.
Like, I brought dinner, here's dessert.
You have long squeakers that are really funny.
That don't smell. So I thought in my mind, I was doing him a service. Like, here's food and here's entertainment,
And then
Kobe.
did you blame it on his kid?
No, that was a different part. That was a different part.
So you did another one after he almost smashed
this
you?
was before. That was later. I had done a lot of farts in his house, but just not while eating dinner. And one I did, his little cute baby.
That was okay before you were at the dinner table.
Well, his baby, Makua, was near me, and I went to the kitchen and squeaked a long one, and I just took a beat, and I go, Makua. I blamed it on his kid, and his kid looks up all cute, like, you had to be there. Let's go back to some more drug tales. I was trying to remember. I think we know these stories well, but people listening don't know these. What about the time we were sitting on my couch, and I never forget because it was like a steak knife with a wood handle, and I just saw you beeline it into the kitchen. You were just having a moment, and you grab a knife and ran out the door. I was like, well, fuck, where's this guy going? And you went to Bonnie Bray and robbed a drug dealer for dope out of his mouth, and you came back very relaxed and smiling, and put the knife back in the kitchen and told me that you put it to a drug dealer's throat and said, spit out your balloons.
And you're
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I totally remember that. And my sister's actually the one, she's not alive anymore, but I would never think, and I'm not trying to like sound like a badass or anything, I would never think that was anything possible or anything that I would think to do. But she would tell me like her boyfriend, like having her boyfriends do that and stuff, and I'd be like, really? And she'd be like, they're 5'4". Like, no one's gonna do, like, they're gonna spit that, like, no one wants to cause a scene. Like, just, and then I was like, okay. And it was
that your first attempt, or had you done it before that?
I did it a few times, but I mean, you can't keep going back to the same spots.
Not to Bonnie Bray.
But yeah, I was like, I wanted, I'm like, I think she said she might have even done it before. I think I was like, if my little sister can do this,
right,
like, I'd be kind of a bitch to not. And I also didn't have any money. It wasn't like
well, that's why you did it.
Like, a $20 bill, and not that I'm rich by any means, but like now a $20 bill doesn't seem like the biggest deal. Whereas like there was a time
back then that was getting a meal and getting high.
Oh, it's like a meal, high, a pack of cigarettes.
Right. Fuck yeah. And because this was like 12 years ago or something.
Yeah,
this was like 05, bro. Oh my God. That was 14 years ago, bro.
Yeah, probably more. Because we hadn't
dude.
We probably barely just started making music.
So when
together.
we did Cribs, that was actually before that house I bought in Laurel Canyon. So that was like 2003 or 4.
And even though we're
dude,
messing around, I don't think we were like, not that we like officially make music, but like I don't think we did it. Like I think we didn't even really do that back then. I think we did like the rapping on Cribs and whatever, but I don't think we were like actually making songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was that house I had before the house I bought.
And then I just remember like when we first became friends, and like you were just totally helped me out so much when my daughter would come in town, you'd let her stay there, and you'd let me stay there.
I let her stay at the house?
Yeah,
where
like
would
you let
sleep?
us both stay there. Maybe you were out of town and you let us stay at the house or something.
Right.
You just and I just remember thinking and I thought it was like a mansion, which it was an amazing house. It's just like now what I think any big house is a mansion, and people are like that's not a mansion, just so you know.
right.
And I'd be like pretty much homeless, and I'd be like, wow, I'm in a mansion this day, and then like fucking somewhere in the complete opposite like the next day. You were just always super cool and helped out, and I think I made you like unofficially or officially, we just didn't go to church to do it, like Orly's godfather.
Oh yeah.
And
that's right. Damn, she was so young. That's when she would rap on the mic like Scoobity Boppity Scoobity Doo. Like she was rapping and I edited. Yeah.
Like before she got off.
So she must have been 4 or 5. She must have been like 5 or 6 years old.
Yes, that's like 15, 16, 17 years ago.
That is so crazy to think, dude.
Time flies and moves slowly at the exact same
weird.
time. It's like it's a scientific thing that I obviously don't know enough about.
Well, that's also weird to think about. Like right now, some dude's getting his dick sucked in like a penthouse, so time's going like fast or fast for him. And at the same time, there's a dude in jail getting butt fucked against his will.
Really
and time
slow.
going real slow at the same time.
Yeah,
but it's the same time. It's just everything. So if that's your perception of how fast it's going, like that's fucking.
I mean, talking about that's a total way. Like a day in prison is obviously seems a lot slower than a day like in paradise.
Like if I got locked up, I would get really good at like meditating. I would just be like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to take this time after like 3 days of feeling sorry for myself. I'd be like, all right, get some books. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do yoga. I'm gonna do yoga to where I could get to suck my own dick, basically.
I mean, I think that's obviously the best case scenario. I think that's what you'd like to think you would do,
right?
Or you could just get totally into the prison politics.
Which I'm not going to do.
But I mean, it doesn't even need to be like, become bad. You could just be like strung out or something.
Well, if you're over 40 in California, you could avoid the prison politics. Like our friend who's always in and out of jail, he's 40 years old. This is a crazy story. And he's he's a Jewish male, but he rolls with the white dudes. And in California prisons, it's like very race related as it is in most. And he was in recently, and this dude came in jail, and the other prisoners said, hey, this guy just came in for a sexual assault. Sexual assault.
It's a terrible story.
Terrible story. So he went in for a sexual assault. Do you guys want to
talk about time going slow? No, tell the fucking story.
So check this out.
Because Chris Rock almost did a joke about
this is real.
This guy.
So
without knowing him,
my friend said he was over 40 years old, so he has the right as an OG, quote unquote. Technically, after 40, you're an OG. That they're like, you want to get in on this and beat this dude up. And my friend said, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna ride this one out and watch them beat this dude up within an inch of his life because they thought he was a sexual predator. Then they got his paperwork and found out that he took a piss in public.
Which is the same paperwork.
So they just saw the color of the paperwork, yellow or whatever the fuck it was, and saw that really all he had done was he took a piss behind a dumpster drunk and whipped his dick out, but they just thought he was doing it at school or something. Yeah. So the guy and my friend didn't beat him up, and he's like, it was traumatizing to watch happen. Enough. This guy didn't do nothing. So my friend always tells me, never piss in public. Yeah. And since then, I might have done it like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, fuck, hurry up. Like,
then what was the joke Chris Rock? He's like,
pay them tickets because
just how life can like fuck you without meaning to. Like, you didn't pay your parking tickets, and then you find yourself in prison getting butt fucked, and you're just like looking up and God or whatever. And
what was this? Oh, I forget how that joke went. I think it's like
some people have good luck, some people have bad luck. I mean, I know that's a dumb way. Like, he's like, Trump's really going to get his. He's like, no, he's not.
He goes, shit goes around, comes around.
People don't know what
goes around, comes around. No, some shit just comes around.
No, but rich white folks don't.
That was my Chris Rock impression. Yeah. Some shit just come around.
It's like rich white folks don't like pay for their dues, you know? And then there was something about, we're totally butchering the joke.
No, it's okay. I remember, I don't know why I just thought of this. Do you remember me, you, and Orly walking in Malibu down a beach, and Arnold Schwarzenegger
in his
was
Speedo?
sitting there in his Speedos looking at us so aggressively with a cigar. I'm like, I go, look right now.
Does he know we're Jews?
He knew we were Jews. I swear to God, dude. He looked at our DNA of our face, and he looked at us, and he's like, these Jews are on my beach. What is this, fucking Normandy? Or that's not that there was Jews in Normandy.
France, yeah.
And I felt him looking at us so crazy that I actually felt like a defense mechanism. Like my heart rate went up. I was like, "Are we gonna?" Like, part of me was like,
"Who's these weirdos on my beach?"
Maybe it was that, but I felt it was anti-Semitic.
But what about when we were in Germany, and you're like on a train, and there's an 80 or 90-year-old German with crazy blue eyes, and you're not like, and they are looking at you like that, and you're like, you were in the SS.
Yeah.
Like, it's not you maybe were in the SS.
Right.
And maybe like a 0.5% chance.
Wait, we were in Germany on that tour?
Yeah, we went to Germany together.
Huh?
We were together.
Where? I thought we went to Poland. Poland, I thought it was. We didn't do Germany, did
Poland.
we? Yeah, anyway,
maybe,
but you're right.
You know what?
Right.
I went to Germany. I think I went to Germany with Kevin.
Yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't me. You were with Kevin, who's also Jewish. But
he's kind of
looks like he could be. You know, there's some Jews who don't look like.
He could be a Gentile.
If you look at me profile, you're like Jew.
You're
but
like a
straight on, you're like
Jew.
Spanish. Side Jew.
So that's your Basque. That's your Jew and your Basque.
Basque Jew. Well, I did my Forever 21 test.
Very rare.
I did my Forever 21 test, or 21 and Me. me, and I found out I'm 30% Basque, which is Spanish, Lithuanian Jew, which I already knew, and Scottish, English, Irish, and a little North African.
What's also
but we
not
all are
just
African
Spanish.
if you go back.
Like
it's
Basque, like a
little
Basque
region.
Jew is very rare.
Well, I wasn't a Basque. Yeah, Basque. I wasn't a Basque Jew. I'm Basque on my dad's side and Jew on my mom's. So here's how the Jew rule works. If your mom's Jewish, you're Jewish.
100% Jewish.
So it's like if the SS kicked in the door, they'd be like, "Is your mother Jewish? Yeah, you're coming with us."
You're like, "No,
yeah,
she's not."
Yeah, I just have to look at them straight on as they try to grab me. I'm like, "No, don't turn profile. Look at the SS straight on."
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Wait, we're talking about drug stories. This show should be called ADHD.
Well, we've done. I mean,
we got
we're
stories,
not sober right now. I mean, I don't know what you want to. I'm not sober.
Right. Well, no, I mean, I'm not sober. I mean, at this moment right now, I'm sober,
saying,
but I'm not
I feel like we can tell
life.
Drug
I'm going to drink tonight at our show.
And I don't feel like I feel like we could tell drug stories because we don't get gnarly.
Well, because we look back just to be honest, like your whole Mickey Avalon character is based on the crazy tales that I don't think people understand that it's an exaggerated character.
The opposite way. I'm exaggerating down.
Right. Yeah. That you've done some shit that people wouldn't even believe if it be most rap like that. That's never that most people can never even fathom that I know is true that people don't believe. I'm trying to think of some other stories.
Well, I remember Bukowski would be
what
like,
about when you shot up?
Well, I remember Bukowski, we'll get back to what you're about to say, but I remember Bukowski would be like, other people would be like, "You're exaggerating, right?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, I said I had sex with 4 girls that night because I knew if I told you the truth that it was 7, you wouldn't believe me."
Wow, yeah, he had to go
He's like, I'm exaggerating down. And you already don't believe me.
Yeah. You're kind of like Bukowski was a beatnik poet in LA. You're kind of like the Bukowski of rap. Do you ever say that? I feel like you said that.
Brandon said it.
Oh yeah.
And then they sampled him saying it. I mean, I love Charles Bukowski. He's probably my favorite poet.
Yeah.
And
is he an author or a poet or both?
Both. He does short stories, poetry.
He had that book called Cheeseburger Cafe.
No.
What was his famous book? It was called like
Ham on Rye.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's his
Cheeseburger Cafe. That's going to be your first
book. That's my next book. That was his autobiography.
I feel like I got bit by a scorpion. Do you see something on my neck?
You might. Let me see. It's hard. I don't feel it, and it's kind of dumb. You know what? Yeah, you got bit by something. I mean, you get eaten out here.
I feel like there's a little prick.
I feel like
I'm
just in the sauna all day, just soaked.
Dude, we're just drenched sweat out here.
But no, that's a funny story about your house.
Okay, so let me set it up, and you slam dunk it. So we're chilling, and I think it was either
long time ago,
back when you were like really doing hard drugs, and I caught you shooting. Was it coke or dope? Was it heroin or coke? So you were shooting up dope, and you. I think you were in my bathroom.
Yeah,
you're in the spare bathroom, the second bathroom. I
always
kind
of like being private, even if I didn't need to be. I just feel like it's kind of like jerking off or something.
Yeah, you want to be courteous.
It's kind of gross. Like,
right?
You see, even
shooting up in someone's house, like jerking off in someone's house, is like Chris Rock said. That's not a clean jerk. Like you don't want to be jerking off while your boys are across the wall. Like you want to do it home alone when you know no one's gonna walk in.
I mean, it's not okay. So probably not that because you're like, I need to do this, and if you're gonna let me do it here, I'm happy to do it here. I just never felt really that comfortable, like just like rigging. I guess at the end of my drug using career, I probably cared less and probably did do it.
I guess with that you need your fix. So you would do it wherever.
But I still kind of like having my space. Like I kind of like going in the bathroom and kind of just like being alone. And
right. I relate to that.
There is like, I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school to learn. I'm not a phlebotomist.
You're not a doctor?
I'm just saying like there is a lot going on. Like you gotta like find a vein.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of, I got shot up today, and I was thinking how you would not be able to handle that. I got my vitamin drip. That's what we've come to. Now we get shot. I was thinking that when they were tying me off,
I was
like, I got good veins. If I was a junkie, I'd be a good gay junkie, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God, I'd be sucking dick for dope all day.
That'd be so rad.
Okay, let's finish the story. So I walk in the bathroom, you're shooting up dope, and I was like, dude, please do me a favor and don't get high. First of all, don't get high. I don't like watching you shoot up.
I'm not gonna judge you and do what you want to do, but please
do what you want to do, but please don't do that.
And I care about you.
Right. And secondly, don't do it at my house because a few years before that, I had a friend of mine commit suicide in my apartment in New York, and he was a junkie and he was strung out and he was really depressed and he took his own life and it was very fucking traumatic for me. So I didn't want that to happen.
Right?
It was in my apartment.
I mean,
and he was strung out.
That's rude.
Yeah,
it's a terrible thing, but that's kind of.
Well, that's what happens when your friends commit suicide. You go through a series of emotions. Like first you're sad, then you're mad, then you go. It's a weird thing because they took their own life. Then you're mad at them. Then you go through all these weird things. And then my closure, it's really weird. My closure with him was that I had a dream.
That's acceptance, right?
A year later or something, I had a dream that he told me. He's like, "Hey, I'm okay," and I was like, that was my closure. And I really was like, "Oh, dude, he's fine," because he came to me in dreamland and told me he's okay. So rest in peace, Kirk Sampson.
Yep.
Anyway, so you were getting high. I'm like, dude, please, I had this happen before. Like, I can't deal with this again. And just don't do it, period.
I apologized. I was like, I'm sorry.
You're like, I'm sorry, I won't do it.
It'll never happen again.
So then all of a sudden you're gone. And I'm like, 15 minutes later, I see there's a car in my driveway. And I look outside and it's you in your car and you're shooting up in the car. So I go downstairs, I knock on the window. I'm like, hey, asshole, you're still at my house. You're in my driveway. I'm like, you're technically out of the house, but you're still at my property. You're like, oh, sorry. You like drove off. I'm like, wait, should I let him drive? Like,
no,
fuck.
Man.
So that was a good story.
And didn't you? I don't remember this, but didn't you say I liked your refrigerator a lot?
Yeah, you said that when you're shooting coke, you get ringers. You get the wah 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 wah. And you said some refrigerators had better vibrational fields than others.
Barely hear, like a little would be huge.
Right.
So
I think I had a good Frigidaire, like a 1997.
You could like turn on water, like something that would never like create any sort of
just a sound.
Big sound, which is like
it's very
any
spiritual
sound.
if you think about it. It's almost like it's very spiritual to do that.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing spiritual about cocaine. I think maybe there is. Maybe people have used it in a spiritual way, and not that I think there's anything spiritual.
Oh no, it's the most low vibration drug on the planet.
I think so.
There's high vibration drugs and low. We're talking about this. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, I think
high vibration drugs are psychedelics that make you grow as a person. Low vibration drugs are
ketamine.
Low vibration drugs are alcohol, pills, cocaine, weed. They just kind of keep you numb and dumb. And the high vibration drugs are psychedelics that open your field of regalia to make you a better person.
And one of the even reasons, like, so good drugs and bad drugs, like say cocaine, you can never get enough. You do it. You need more. You need more.
You got to use them to get through the day.
There.
Right.
Like there's no there. Like even with like like a downer or something, or even
Sierra
alcohol.
Just walked in. Hi, we could acknowledge her. Hi, Sierra.
Like you can get there. Like you can get drunk. Like you can get stoned. Like there is a there to achieve.
Right.
Whereas like you could do like a hit of crack and you're having the most amazing feeling and you can't even enjoy it because you're already like trying to do your next one.
Right.
Like there's no like.
So those are the kind of, you said the other day, you're like, those are the kind of drugs that are low vibration when you got to get it fixed. And the ones that you're like, I don't need to do that for 3 months.
Like you can do like whippets or something and it's like, this is amazing. Let's do another one. Oh, let's do another one. Like 4 or 5 later, you're like, dude, I don't want to do any more of that.
Yeah.
Like you do ketamine. You're like, that was amazing. I don't want to do that tomorrow. Right. And even if you do it tomorrow, it doesn't even work. Same thing. And then I read that like your body makes like a blocker or something. Like
it does that with LSD for sure.
Like it's like you have this amazing experience, and then it's like, do you want to do that again? Like maybe in 6 months, maybe next week. Like
I have to fart. Should I hold it in or do it?
Go for it. You can always edit it out.
Sorry, yeah. Well, I'm right under the fan, so it's gonna blow right back.
It's gonna blow right in your face.
That was a weak one.
That was gonna
if I'm gonna fart on the podcast, I should have done a real boofer.
Yeah, well, you'll get there.
I'll get there one day. I might edit that out. We'll see. Well, I just fart. If I edit it out,
it's probably unhealtly to hold your farts.
I think so. So I'm promoting good health on this podcast.
I know it's unhealthy to hold your pee.
Yeah, really unhealthy. Are you believing the break the seal theory? Like once you piss, then you got to keep pissing. Like you're at a festival.
I feel like I believe in it, but there's probably no scientific fact. I feel
weird.
like if you're even having the conversation about breaking the seal, you're drinking a lot of liquids, whether it's water or alcohol.
Good point.
So you're probably gonna have to take a lot of pees.
It's a good point.
I mean, so I feel like once you take that first one, like you're gonna take more. But if you didn't take that first one, I don't know how much more time
you just nailed it. If you're having the conversation, you're drinking a lot of beer out or something, and you're like, a bathroom's not in.
But I think there is something impressive about like the guy or girl that like you're like, dude, you just drank like 3 pitchers of beer. Like, how come you haven't taken a piss?
Right.
And all it probably is their bladder is probably bigger than the next person. Like I think I have like a little water balloon bladder or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So whether I break the seal or not, I just feel like however much liquid goes in me, like 3 times that comes out of me.
Right.
So I'm basically like a little bitch. I'm not the dude who drinks pitchers of beer and doesn't pee.
All right, let's do a couple. I don't know why I just popped in my head. I'm just going with my flow. Would you rather get your dick sucked in a castle in Germany?
Okay,
or
yes.
Wait,
you have to do 2 bad ones.
Wait,
you're gonna do 2 good ones.
By Dracula.
Okay. Oh, sharp teeth. Okay.
Oh no, I guess this would be Transylvania. Okay, so Dracula sucked your dick in Transylvania, and you have to finish, or fucking Andre Legacy licks your butthole for an hour.
I think I'll go Dracula.
Okay, all right.
I thought you were going to say, you have to lick Andre Legacy.
I'll take that one. Give me one.
Okay, so it's got like, would you
It's
rather?
just got to be dumb, and then
would
we'll
you
move
rather
on.
have like hiccups forever? Like,
Oh, that's a good one, dude. Fuck.
Would you rather always have hiccups that never go away?
Well, you can never do a show again. You couldn't do acting. You couldn't do anything. Okay.
Or lose all your sense of taste, smell. Yeah, all your senses, smell and taste.
Oh, I would have to
touch.
do that. Fuck, dude. You keep adding on. I mean, I guess that's an ego-based one.
You looked at in a smart way, like, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that.
Right. I guess just forget work reasons, but the hiccups, I think you would just get used to it after like 3 months. So maybe that, because I don't want to give up food, sex, and like smelling your butthole, you know?
I feel like I'd say the same. Like you.
Yeah. Like, after a while, it would be normal. It'd be like if you were, okay.
And then, like, I didn't say like gnarly hiccups that you're just like, oh.
Yeah, it would just be annoying, but I think after a while, you would just get used to it.
And you figure out like, okay, I have like 18 seconds to my next hiccup. Like, and you like just get good at doing whatever you did.
Okay, so now before we just go down a would you rather wormhole, let me go backwards a little bit. High school, Mickey Avalon, in it, killing it. Beverly Hills High?
I used my grandmother's address and went to Beverly Hills High for 1 year.
Oh, so that was back in the day. Do people still do that? Use the fake address to go to a better school district?
My mom was all about like getting good schooling and her not necessarily have the money.
Smart guy.
I mean, I think I went to public school and went to good public school.
Wait, so you went 1 year to Beverly? No.
I went 1 year to Beverly.
Was it at Fairfax? No, where'd you go?
No, and then I just went to like stupid like continuation schools that got out at noon. So I was already selling weed by then, and I just wanted to be done with school by noon.
Oh, let's talk about that for a second. You were selling the Fruity Pebbles, which is an infamous strain of weed that I bet if that was around now, that would be a novelty strain that people would be like, I got the Fruity Pebbles, because weed's become so ubiquitous. Ooh, 10-point word. That it's everywhere now. I just said what it means for you people that don't know what ubiquitous means. And
the Fruity Pebbles really
is a novelty
smelled
weed.
like Fruity Pebbles.
It really did.
They were huge nugs that, like, when you took them out of the bag looked like there used to be Coke in it.
The sugar crystals.
So crystally.
If I still
and when I
smoked
first
weed,
started, I would only get a little bit. Like I got to where I was selling pounds, and that's when weed actually cost money. You could like
$5 a pound back then, whatever it was.
When I started,
but not only that, but even now that would be a lot. 4G's back in 1994 was 10 Gs. Yeah. So on top of it being that, so
since basically I started selling nickel bags of swag, and my mom knew that I was doing that. And my mom sold good weed. And and she was afraid that I was going to get in trouble. And then she was afraid I was also going to get her in trouble. So I just remember one day I'm like selling, I basically buy a 20 bag of swag and then make 5 nickels, which kids say, but nickel. So I basically was making $5.
Right.
Which
I think they could put it together. But
I'm saying what a nickel bag. I don't think
anymore,
there's a nickel bag. So I remember she pulled me in her room and just showed me like the kindest weed ever.
Bro.
And then she's like, how much like do you need like for like how much money and how much? And I was like, well, I need like an eighth for myself, and then whatever, $100 a week or something. So I got a half an ounce, and so there was besides my a half an ounce a week, and besides my eighth, there was 3 more. So and they were saved. Like Brandon got one. Eddie got one, and one other person. Yeah, and one other person. I forgot who it was. And so, like, every Friday, like, there'd be, like, 1, 2, 3. Like, and it was, like, locked in for, like, no one else. Everyone wanted them. Like, I only get 3.
Damn, I miss those days, bro.
A week. And, and then I got bigger and bigger and was making a lot, good money. I thought it was good money. I had a shoebox with $10,000 in it, and I thought I was a millionaire.
Yeah.
But then when I got addicted to drugs,
that money wasn't so much.
No, not that. It still was a lot. But I didn't make any more money because then my mom said, you're cut off. I'm not going to let you get me in trouble or get yourself in trouble. Okay. Like there was rules. Like you couldn't, like if your light was out in your car, like there was, it wasn't like now where A, it's legal, and B, even before it got legal, it got kind of mellow. So I got cut off, and and then that $10,000 went really fast.
Cool. We could talk about this because you spoke about this in the LA Weekly story, or the LA Weekly story came out, and that's what had to nip the bud, no pun intended, with the marijuana thing that your mom was doing. Because when you got signed to Interscope,
she doesn't do it anymore, right?
Right.
Once it got legal, and even a little bit further,
it would have been out the game anyway. But what was the story behind that? You did the LA Weekly piece, which was a big, in LA, it's like the equivalent of Rolling Stone in Los Angeles, and everybody in the industry sees it. And you had the cover story, and it was a story about how what you just told me, that you sold weed for your mom, and then I remember her getting upset. Like,
no, I asked her first.
Oh, you did?
No, I asked her first.
See, I got the story wrong.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I asked her first, and she was already pretty much out of the game, and I would never.
And then you hired her. Now she helps run the Mickey Avalon train, right?
No, she helps a little. When I first got into it, she helped
really
a lot more.
On board.
Well, I mean, she was on payroll. Like, she's not on payroll now. Okay. Like she'll pick me up from the airport,
right?
Which I think that's just what moms do.
Right. Well, she lives 1.3 miles from the airport.
I trusted
shout
her.
Out Burbank Airport. Bob Hope.
Like I was making good money. I trusted her, and I had the money to pay her. I mean, I wish I had like an extra however much money now to send my mom's way. I just don't. But I would never rat on somebody without asking.
Right. Okay, I got that story wrong. I forgot what that was so long ago. Now let's talk about.
I remember even when I've been like in a few rehabs. Not really long stays, and always on a free community bed. But like part of there would be these things where like you're supposed to talk about yourself and like all the things you did. And I remember I was like, I'm not gonna tell. You know what I mean? Like, this is supposed to be healing, but I'm not gonna talk about these things.
Right.
And then I remember my mom even saying like, don't worry about me. Like, just do what you have to do to like, you know what I mean? Like, don't like hold lies that maybe are gonna like be, they say like your sick is your secrets or something. Like, she's like I don't want you like trying to protect me and like having that mess you up or whatever. You know?
Got it.
But,
well, no, real quick, I don't know what made me steer this direction, but we were just talking about your mom picking you up, and we've been doing shows now for, a long time. And now we're at a point where the rap game is in such a weird place, and we're in our 40s, and we're older Jewish white guys rapping, and somehow the phone keeps ringing. We keep booking shows. I don't want to jinx it, knock on Balinese wood, but that we're still somehow getting booked. We're always, and we make I don't want to talk about how much money we make, and it's not a lot of money, but we get paid enough to go. Let's just say if we do 3 or 4 shows a month, we're paying our rent and eating sushi.
We're sucking dick to the middle to get to the middle.
We're right in the middle, but now we're at a point in an age where we've gotten past like, we got to blow up. We got to make, we're just happy being on cruise control, and we figured out a way to live a humble life where it's just like, dude, I'm just happy as long as we're eating good. It's part of being
doing
older.
Dishes.
That's what I'm saying.
And not to like toot our own horns, but I think we're good at what we do.
Well, I would hope we put in the 10,000 hours at this point,
And we're not like trying to like, we need to sound, like you said, we're not trying to make we're not trying to sound like, we need to sound like this. I think that would probably end it immediately.
We know our voice.
I think if we're like, we need to be mumble rappers, like it would probably be the end of it. You know what I mean? I think there's something about, and I think like again, our stuff sounds timeless, but I think you can't hear our stuff and be like, that was done in 1997.
Right.
Like, it was never like, what's hot right now? Like, let's make beats that sound like that.
Yeah, we don't have trappy beats. Like, our beats just are hip-hop, and it could be
and even when I do get some, I've done a few, like, that kind of sound a little more modern, and I almost didn't like it, and then I kind of, like, was like, don't do that.
Yeah, like
anymore.
when you play me all the new ones, like they sound good, but then you play me one that you sound like Sun Doobie on. It was like a random one. And I'm like, that's the one.
That's
and
one
it was like,
too.
You know what I mean? And it just sounded like you came harder on it. It just sounded like what you sound better on.
Smoothie, real quick.
Right.
We're
shout out
friends
to
with
Smoothie.
both of us. And he lived at your house for a while, and you said he would only listen to like 90s, like San Francisco.
Right. I would try to play
and you're like, you need to
rap.
listen to other stuff.
He wouldn't listen.
Right. Then he finally did. And then he's like, okay, now it has to be trap. It's like, that's the blessing and the curse. Like you got someone to go out of their thing, and then they're like, now it needs to sound like this.
Well, he's a perfectionist.
So now it's like going rewind back. Like, okay, it doesn't need to sound like 90s San Francisco or, Oakland, whatever, the Bay. But let's not try to make it sound like this week's What's Hot this week. Because I don't think that's our lane, and it's cool to add. And he's like, well, no, that's what the kids, like, their ears are used to. I don't care what the kids' ears are used to.
Once you start saying the kids, you're old.
That's already a problem.
Right.
B,
the kids are listening.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, maybe this week that's what their ears are used to. Like, people are always gonna like something good.
Sierra, was your friend that butt fucked the priest? Did he get butt fucked or butt fucked the priest? You don't know. I want to have him on the podcast.
And we're obviously not going to play the. Well, no, we're going to ask him before we.
Yeah, I didn't say his name, but I said his company he owns. So we'll ask him first because I don't want the church to come after him.
I think he'd be proud that.
I don't want the church to come all over him. I think we end on that note. We just went over an hour. We'll do more.
That was an hour?
Yeah, we'll do more of these. So this will be Mickey Avalon Part 1, and because we travel so much together, I think people are going to like these tales. This is Bali. Yeah.
All day long.
Oh, he will. Oh, he'd be great.
Up,
so okay.
Bitch.
So thanks for listening to Nervous Rex, Mickey Avalon from Bali. We're better than you. Suck a dick.
Better than you.
Peace.